Hi there, welcome back to our coverage of the 2022 Santa Cruz Masters Cup. We've got our FPO lead card back 9 here on the final day.
Commentary today is continued with me, Raven Klein.
And I'm Ella Hansen.
After our front 9, Ella starting to have that clean round, shooting 3 down. But right now, the focus is Sarah and Katrina shooting 5 down apiece from the chase card, so making it interesting.
Sarah is 3 strokes back going into this back 9, and Katrina is 5 strokes back. Hole 10 is a 415-foot par 3. It's basically a big hyzer, kind of throwing it up into this eucalyptus grove here.
The tee itself does go downhill, but then you have to shoot back up to get to the basket.
Just trying to swing it out wide here, get a little ground action, and scooting up inside the circle.
It's a great shot.
Maria going a little more straight at it.
She'll get herself kind of into that lower gully, and great skip up the hill just outside of the circle. There is no OB to contend with on this hole. So just let her rip.
Just playing it out wide. Full power. She's in that little gap there. And this hole is kind of, it's pushing it for a lot of our FPO players. I think it's probably the longest par 3 on this course at least.
Is there a safe over there? Okay.
Ohn a little shorter, but she's got a gap up to the basket. Looks like she's trying to go to the right and high, catching a tree, but kicking up, getting some good day love, and getting up inside the circle.
Day love, I love that. Just flexing a little forehand approach up here. Just wanting it to nestle up by the basket. And it does.
It does. Maria from the middle of circle 2, giving it a run, catching some cage. Sitting down right there.
Got to put a little extra power on these uphill putts. They seem like they're right there.
Mm-hmm. I basically do the same thing as Maria, just a little bit low, catching some cage.
Happy to see the disc just sit down, though. Ohn saving her par there. That's a great shot.
There was only one birdie on the day on this hole. Kat Murch hit a sick putt from circle 2 to card her birdie.
Fantastic. Just grabbing her par, the mid-circle 1 putt. Very nice. Nice little tap in for the par. And Maria will be doing the same. Very nonchalant.
Hole 11, 295 feet. This hole pretty much forces you to throw a forehand or a turnover backhand. We've got this bunker kind of surrounding all of the basket on the front and back right sides.
And the road is OB on the left. This park has a lot of locals around it and the golf green, and so there are cars coming in and out all day. So if that's something you don't like to deal with, suck it up.
Yeah, those cars are coming in and out the whole time. They're not going to stop for you. I thought I threw a pretty good shot, but just had a little bit of a late skip into that bunker.
Maria going with the low backhand, catching a tree, but kicking herself into a fairly open spot. Hard to tell if those branches are going to be in her way. I don't think so.
Just playing the wide forehand as well. giving it some good distance out there. And I believe she'll be just at the edge of the circle with kind of a death putt with the bunker right behind it.
Getting to the opening around the corner in the sun is kind of your safest bet. Oh, I love the height of that.
I'm getting a lot of up and down action there, but putting herself just outside the bullseye with a great shot. Maria playing a nice little layup to the safe side of the green, making sure that she's not messing around with that bunker.
This upshot, basically you decide, do I want to play it risky on the first shot and have a safe putt? Or do I play it safe on the upshot and have a risky putt?
Just with maybe a little bit of a half bid there.
Oh.
I was a little sad about that putt.
It looked like it should have been fine. Basket just wasn't having it.
Wasn't having it. Maria getting her par. And we finally get into Ohn's drive. It's a 6 shot. And she taps in her birdie. So I'm taking a bogey here. Jess is taking a par. And we're moving on to hole 12.
Leading the way. Hole 12, we have a par 4, 594 feet. The first shot's fairly simple. You're just aiming to get around this ridge or push it a little bit further. As you come up to the basket, you have a sand trap hazard on the right, the OB green on the left, another sand trap, and then you get to the basket. There's a pitch and putt area behind that's all safe, but really makes your upshot a bit treacherous.
Ohn giving it a good rip out into the fairway.
I would say for first shots, the approach seems to be a little bit easier the more right you can get on the fairway, allowing you for more of a basic hyzer up into the basket.
Mm-hmm.
Maria really pushing that right side, but looks like she's got plenty of height to come back. Oh, she's real close.
Getting a road skip and scooting up down there. She was a little scared about that.
I love how far she can push her disc on hyzer sometimes.
Yeah. Just playing it a little bit lower than Maria.
Getting a nice hold of it, though. Just shy of the ridge.
It's a good shot.
Great shot.
And this tree on the left here right off the tee can kind of get into your head a little bit if you let it. So most players are, throwing this hyzer.
Nice shot.
Thanks.
I would say from around where Ohn is, you're probably looking at like 320 feet up to the tree and then another 20, 25 feet to still get to the basket.
I think Ohn wanted to push that a little more left, but just carrying past that bunker and sticking on the hillside.
Nice deep breath. Refocus yourself before a shot.
Just with a nice shot,
Beautiful.
landing it right on the top of that ridge for a 20-footer for birdie.
Maria taking the hyzer route around everything. Oh, beautiful shot. Well executed.
I'm kind of just trying to throw it a little bit right to left. Did not quite put enough juice on that. We'll be left with a circle 2 look.
Ohn having to get over this hill a little bit for her putt. Floating it right under the basket.
Skimming the grass there. That's a great approach for her. Trying to give it a bit of a run, just a little bit long.
Jess lining up her birdie putt. Oh, I feel like this is the most wind so far in the day. It's kind of out in this opening.
Yeah, I would say the wind started picking up probably 1 or 2 holes before this for us, and you definitely noticed it on these couple of holes here.
You grabbing your par.
Maria tapping in a birdie. Well played for her. And you could see just how being right off her tee shot allowed her a much easier hyzer approach than the rest of us.
Jess with a frustrating par. Do a little check-in here after 12 holes. Oh, geez. Sarah shooting a 6 down. Katrina with a 7 down. That chase card is just going off right now. Ohn and Maria still having under par, and Jennifer Allen shooting a 3 down as well.
Some solid rounds. Suddenly I've got 2 people within 2 strokes of me, and yeah, they're having some really, really sick rounds.
Hole 13, we have a par 3, 315 feet. Make our return to the woods a little bit. You'll see a lot of women throwing a forehand off the tee. This cart path on and beyond left is out of bounds. So people get a little nervous about pushing too far forward because it actually does creep in toward the basket. I do like this backhand turnover up the gap. Allows you a flatter entrance into the green.
Maria
Really?
just turning it over a little too much, catching a bush, and she is kind of in the rough right on the edge there. Ohn playing the forehand here. Getting a little skip.
Shoot.
And we actually, yeah, we had to come and look at that. We weren't sure, but it ended up being out of bounds, unfortunately for Ohn.
I would say the cart path is the error on the forehand, and with the backhand, people tend to turn it a little too much and end up on the trees in the right side. Mm-hmm. Makes for a very difficult approach.
Just pushing that left side a little bit, but she ends up inside circle 2. And I pull this one a little to the inside as well. I'm a little in front of Maria, but also kind of on the edge of that rough there.
As you can see, a lot of these like tree shavings, they're really slippery.
From those eucalyptus trees, they shed.
They do.
Make the footing tough. So Maria throwing a nice little pitch out around these bushes. I'm kind of trying to do something similar.
It was nice swinging that wide. I feel like when you're throwing uphill, a lot of people tend to saw off that forehand approach.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the bid.
Ooh. She'll be right underneath the basket for her par. Yeah, she was right on the edge, close to the grass, but unfortunately, she is OB there. Trying to give it a bit for her par save. Classic Ohn fashion, but just a little low right.
Oh, great putt. That's a really nice par save for Maria. Let's look at it again. Super smooth. Oh, wow. Heart of the chain.
Right in the middle, dead center. That's a great par save. Good scramble and good putt. And so, the rest of us are tapping in. I'm taking a par. Ohn will be taking a bogey with that OB stroke. And Jessica taking a par as well.
I feel like the Destroyer is the benchmark of distance drivers on tour.
Moving on to hole 14. Got another par 4 here, 534 feet. We previously had Mandos through these trees, but we actually don't during the tournament. So most players are going to play a wider hyzer down the right side. And we've got our basket on a hillside, protected on the front by this green and bunker. And then that path that you see behind is also out of bounds. We're going to check in on the chase card here, seeing what Katrina Allen is doing on hole 14.
That's a great pump. If you can get that hyzer around the tree, it sets you up for more of a level approach where you can actually see the basket.
Hokum going through
Whoa.
the gap. Gets a little bit of elevator lift there, but she gets it way down the fairway.
Both great shots.
Hokum playing down this left side. Beautiful shot there, just settling right inside the bullseye.
Katrina taking the high hyzer, getting that just to softly land by the basket.
Just hitting it at the top of the hill and letting it roll down a little toward the basket.
Sarah grabbing her birdie.
Cat making good on the birdie as well.
Head back over to our lead card. Maria taking the right side hyzer gap, giving it a nice pump, should be at the top of the hill or at least close.
It's a great shot. Pushing in close to the spectators on the chase card there.
Just going with a similar line, but pushing it a little bit straighter, which can make it tough because she'll be in some interesting footing.
Yeah. Yeah, that little gully there makes for a little bit of a challenging stance on your approach shot.
Most likely she won't be able to see the basket from there. Unless that's her on the hill, then she's just high enough that she might.
I'm just trying to play it out a little more left side, giving myself a bit of a flatter approach. And Ohn pushing it down, trying to get it through that gap, catching a little bit of a tree.
She'll be pretty low into that valley.
A little bit better footing for her, but super blind approach.
Looks like she gave it a nice throw. Oh, yeah. Overdoes it a little bit. And now we just need that to sit down.
And
Oh, or curl back. Okay.
that is gone, rolling out of bounds. That's a tough break for Ohn.
I think this is one of the more difficult approaches because if you short it, you find yourself in a hazard bunker. And if you go too far, you got the sidewalk. But that'll work.
We were scaring that basket a little bit, trying to throw it in for eagle. Just a little bit low. Worried she was going to throw it onto the green, but she scooped past it. But she'll be sort of at the top of the hill, just outside the edge of the circle.
This is a great spot to be. Just a flat, level approach where you can see the basket.
And
Ooh,
I thought I threw a great shot, just skimming the top of the grass there and pushing me down to the edge of the circle at the bottom of the hill.
Ohn grabbing her lie after going out of bounds over the cart path.
Trying to give it a bid for par.
It's hard to tell on video, but that is really uphill.
It is really uphill. Maria also at the bottom of the hill. Pretty similar distance to Ohn. You can see from that flag on the basket that there is a bit of a tailwind for her.
Good bid from Maria. Just staring down the hill.
Just landing it right there underneath the basket.
Oh, a lot of metal on this basket.
A lot of metal, but not in the basket, unfortunately.
Everyone really giving it a good bid.
Yep.
You grabbing your par.
And Ohn will take a bogey. A couple of OB strokes for her, starting to add up.
Maria tapping in an easy par, and Jess as well. Keeping it really clean here on this back nine, those two.
Absolutely. Moving on to hole 15, 350-foot par 3, kind of going down this little valley and back up. We've got a steep drop-off with a lot of rough on the right, and this sand trapper flying over. It plays as a hazard. This is a tough hole.
Checking back in with our chase card. Katrina Allen throwing a great flex shot as long as she can stay out of the bushes. Gets a good kick back to the fairway. She'll probably be around the edge of circle 2.
Sarah playing it wider, pushing over, trying to get past that, in front of that bunker.
I feel like you see a lot of players pretty much just driving into the hill and landing short of the bunker so they don't have to mess with it.
Sarah giving it a bit. Hitting the
great
band.
bid.
That's a great bid.
It's
yeah.
tough to make those jump putts when your feet are staggered on a hillside like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Cat also hitting metal.
That would have been special.
Would have. That's
Very
sweet.
true.
2 good, well-played holes for both Katrina and Sarah. Taking pars.
And we'll head back to the lead card with Maria.
Good height for her. Just a little right. Catches some branches, and she actually kind of rolled back down into there, but not too bad.
Jess will be lining up the forehand approach. Swinging it nice and high.
Trying to get it to come
Oh, dang it.
so close to a great shot and just catching the edge lip of that bunker and sliding back in.
I feel like that bunker is just at a lot of people's max distance.
Mm-hmm.
And so it can be really tricky to find your way around it.
I'm kind of trying to push it a little long, but
Oh,
I threw it too low, scooting into that bunker.
Ohn turning it over a little bit too much, and the tree giving her a second chance.
It's a good kick for her.
I was like, should I throw?
That's an extremely deep, narrow gully.
Yeah.
If she were to go a foot left or right of the tree that she hit. Pumping the upshot, pushing deep kind of into the brush.
Maria, nice, gentle patent pending there out of the rough.
Beautiful shot. Yes.
Caddy loves it. And this green is pretty safe. We got a little bit of a hillside on the back, so
A little bit of a backboard, yeah.
I'm trying to run this to save my par.
Ooh.
Thought I had it, pushed it a little bit long. Jess to save par from the edge of the circle.
Oh, man. Catching another band.
And that basket really getting some good metal hits for.
Ohn making good on her par. That's a great putt.
Yep. There were 2 birdies on the day, Alex Benson and Danielle Klein.
Alex was actually on my card, and she was down the hill. It was like just on the edge of circle 2, like deep. It was fantastic.
That's awesome. Jess and I both tapping in for bogey. And Maria tapping in her excellent scramble shot for a par. Checking in on the leaderboard, we've got some movement. Sarah Holcomb with a 7 under round, moving down to even par and taking the lead. Myself and Katrina Allen are now tied for second, both at +1. We've got some buffer behind the rest of the field. Maria Oliva +6, tied with Ohn Scoggins, and Jessica Weese, our other lead card competitor, at +9.
Moving on to hole 16, it is a par 4, 590 feet. This cart path is inbounds, but there's an auxiliary road by the green that is out of bounds. Most players are going to just try and get into this open grass area. And then it starts to narrow as you get toward the basket. A couple trees get in the way, but for the most part, keeping it in the middle will allow you a simple hyzer approach into the green.
And this is the second easiest hole on the course, so everyone is looking for a birdie here. Checking in on our chase card, Katrina Allen, giving it a good rip right out there into the middle of the fairway.
Sarah giving it a nice flex, pumping it out there. Getting a little to the right side, but she'll be okay after her approach.
Pushing close to that cart path, but she is fine there.
It's looking great.
Pushing it around those trees. She'll be just outside the circle there.
The out of bounds road is maybe 10 feet past the circle.
Katrina going down the right side, throwing kind of straight at the basket. Looks like she catches a little bit of that cart path.
Sarah with her bid for birdie. She'll nestle up inside the bullseye, have an easy par. Kat with a birdie bid. And she makes good on it.
Solid birdie there for Kat. Good putt.
That'll bring her down to even.
And Sarah tapping in a par. So she and Katrina are now tied at even with the lead.
Back to our lead car, we have Maria just throwing it right up the gut. Pretty straight shot, and she'll just push forward, be in a good position.
That's pretty textbook about what you want to do on this hole. Just getting it down there as far as you can.
Ohn with a great rip. She'll be a little more left than Maria. But again, anywhere in this grassy open space is going to be fine.
It's worth noting, as we can see, this tee pad is pretty small. I believe this is one of the permanent tee pads at the golf course here. We did have sort of a variance of teeing surfaces. We had some of these smaller tee pads. We had some turf tee pads that were temporary, and we teed off from the road or the cart path a few times as well.
Just pushing the right side of the fairway over by the cart path, but just in fine position. Just grip it and rip it.
Yep, pretty much.
Pushing forward, just a little bit of ground play. But this is one of the more straightforward tee shots. Ohn with the forehand approach, swinging around that tree. Oh, trying to swing around that tree.
And this just rolling forever, seemingly, but not too far for her. Maria looking for more of a straight backhand approach to the basket.
I would guess she's somewhere around 200 feet out for that approach.
She just pulls it a little bit left. Probably doesn't give it quite as much juice as she wanted to, and hits that same tree that Ohn did.
Just taking the hyzer approach over the, just inside the auxiliary road. That's a great shot.
Yep.
Leaving her mid-circle one.
Using that skip to get herself up closer to the basket. I'm trying to just play it straight out there. Getting up inside the circle.
Ohn has this tree to contend with, so just a nice hyzer approach.
Good
with
little
a
roll
helpful
down.
roll.
Yeah, that tree is pretty big, getting in her way.
And Maria lining up a fairly similar shot, but she's a little bit more to the right.
Yeah, just trying to get it around that tree, getting yourself up for a little tap in par there. I know that I need to get a birdie or two to challenge those folks on the chase card, so I'm really stoked to make that putt for a birdie. First one on the back nine for me.
And a solid putt. It was.
Yeah.
Just making good on her birdie.
That's a great putt. Well
That's
played
gotta feel
hole.
nice. Ohn grabbing a par here on hole 16, and Maria as well. Maria's keeping it really clean on the back nine. You love to see that.
Moving on to hole 17, par 3, 342 feet. Pretty much just a straight open look here, and we've got these two big eucalyptus trees sort of guarding the basket, elevated, and we've got this same auxiliary road behind is out of bounds.
Checking in with the chase card again, we've got Katrina Allen. Releasing that pretty low and right. I don't think that has a chance to come back. So she will be out of bounds on the drive.
Sarah lining up a forehand. Trying to push it down that left side. Get some good action. And she will be safe. That cart path there in front of the basket is safe.
Sarah just pitching up under the basket, trying to make for an easy par.
And Kat goes to the drop zone here.
Oh,
Giving it a run.
that's such a
catching
good
some
run.
Cage. Drops down right there. She'll have a tap in bogey.
And Sarah with her tap in par.
So Sarah and I now are both at even after they complete that hole. Katrina moving back a stroke.
Just taking the forehand line as well. Putting herself in a good position just directly in the center of the fairway. Like Ella said, that cart path is inbounds.
And I'm throwing what I was hoping to be just a gentle, safe backhand.
Oh, no.
Just pushing a little long, scooting out of bounds there. Not happy about that, as you might be able to tell.
I assume Maria will just go right down the gut.
Yep. Aiming at that right side tree, just letting it hyzer. Oh, catching that last tree, but she's still safe.
Love her facial expressions.
Just trying to make sure. We're a little confused about whether that played sort of as an island with that cart path, but she's safe.
Ohn taking the hyzer approach as well, pushing that straight, but she should nestle up into the side of the hill. Fantastic.
Scooting it up there.
Yay. Just giving it a nice high, just kind of toss up to the basket. I don't see a lot of people trying to run this. Oh,
Catching a little stump, but laying down right
thing is
there.
softer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
You don't get aggressive bounces off of it.
yeah.
From the drop zone.
Probably shouldn't have run that, but
Oh,
I did. Ohn from just outside the circle.
oh.
And I stayed safe on my run, but I am a little bit, I've got an uphill headwind putt, so a little tough.
Oh no.
Airball. Yeah, not my best played hole of the day, unfortunately.
I mean, I just assume there's so much going through your head, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very unfortunate for that double bogey.
Yeah, I was not very happy with myself after that.
Maria carding a par, keeping her back nine clean, and Jessica with the par as well.
And another par from Ohn. So right now we're looking at hole 18. It's a pretty tough hole. R3, 429 feet downhill. We got this sand trap here. And we've got the first appearance of some water on this course. Out here on the left side. It's tough. It's a tough hole. We're going to see probably a lot of folks playing it safe on this one.
We'll check in with our chase card first. Sarah playing it safe, keeping it low. Maybe not as safe as I thought. Really hugging that water line, but getting it to nestle.
That's a great shot for her. Just hugging that line, throwing it straight, hitting it right in the middle of the fairway. And Katrina, one stroke back, seeing Sarah in the middle. She knows she has to go for it.
Oh, no.
Turns it over, and that cart path is out of bounds. Doesn't come into play very often, but she gets the red flag, unfortunately. She's got a pretty long pitch up here for her bogey look.
Executing that well, though. That should be just outside the bullseye.
Yep. And Sarah with a real smooth layup just underneath the basket. A little bit anticlimactic there.
Katrina making good on her bogey putt. She played a great back nine, just had a rough end there on the last 2 holes.
Yeah, she had 9 birdies.
Sarah keeping her back nine completely clean and tapping in a par on 18. Jessica Weese playing what I assume to be the normal play for most players, and just a big hyzer into the middle of the fairway. More likely to swing out right so that you don't get even close to the water.
Another old Dela vehicle moving by. Maria throwing it out there. A little bit lower than Jess, but right in the middle of the fairway, keeping it safe by aiming it low, not letting the wind carry it either left or right going OB.
There was a slight right to left wind at this point, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a helping wind over towards that water.
Sorry.
I'm throwing a great shot and apologizing, but getting it way down there. I knew at this point, unless I aced it, I wasn't going to win, but just trying to push it down there for a birdie look if I could. Getting a skip, but getting caught by a tree. Pretty stoked about that, even though I was real disappointed about my last hole, but it was good to get a good drive out there.
Yeah, glad you stayed in bounds.
Ohn looking at a long approach.
This approach can be a little tricky. You can see the basket is right at the peak of a little ledge, and if you overdo it, you can tip up and kind of roll toward the water.
Another smooth shot there from Maria.
Just inside the bullseye.
Just looking at a long throw putt. Also just right near the bullseye for her.
Her putt really allows her to stay safe and away from the water like that.
So I ended up in this little tree. And this is pretty much all I had, so.
That's such a great shot, though.
I was.
I mean, from where you were to be now just tapping in the par.
Yeah, I was very happy to execute that shot, hit that little gap. It was not easy.
Ohn making good on her par, playing the last 4 holes really clean.
Jess with a solid putt as well for her par.
Even back nine for Jess.
Maria got that 1 under par on the back nine. Solid play for her. So she and Ohn will be tied for 4th at the end of this tournament. And
You grabbing your par.
grabbing a par, ending up tied for 2nd with Katrina.
22 Santa Cruz Masters Cup FPO champion, Sarah Hokum.
And Hokum with a 10-10 rated final round to take the lead from the chase card. This is the first time that anyone has won a tournament from the chase card since 2017 in the FPO division, when Paige Pierce at the Green Mountain Championships took down Sarah Hokum from the chase card. So she's only the 2nd FPO player ever to win from the chase card at a Disc Golf Pro Tour event. Pretty awesome.
Really, really exciting final round here. I mean, just extra shout out to Sarah and Katrina shooting 7 down on the round. It's just incredible golf.
Yeah.
You really love to watch it. We had a lot of people out there supporting this lead and chase card today. So
Yeah, and shout out to Sarah. Not a single bogey on her round, which is very impressive out here at this course.
all the hazards and oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, congratulations, Sarah. Thank you guys for watching the coverage here of the 2022 Santa Cruz Masters Cup. I am Ella Hansen.
And I'm Raven Klein.
Thanks for watching.